And welcome back. High tensions have erupted between Pretoria and Washington this week after US President Donald Trump announced that South Africa would be barred from the 2026 G20 Summit and face the immediate suspension of US financial support. Trump cited alleged horrific human rights abuses and claims of farm seizures, accusations that have been widely rejected as false and misleading. South Africa, backed by international and local voices, insists that it remains a full sovereign member of the G20. The FW de Klerk Foundation and diplomatic representatives, including the German ambassador, have publicly defended South Africa's right to participate. President Cyril Ramaphosa's administration has confirmed that the country will continue to engage actively in all G20 processes to break down the implications of these developments for South Africa and its standing on the global stage. We're joined by Dr. Oscar van Heerden, an expert in international relations. Oscar, good evening. Thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. Could have expected this from Donald Trump. It's not far-fetched and it's not unlike him, and it's very much within his politics. But of course, sometimes Donald Trump's politics doesn't match the reality of what's possible. And in this instance, can a host country just decide to block and bar a full member of the multilateral body from participating?
It is. Thanks, Oliver. It's not the done thing, as you know. And that's why a lot of people are pushing back and raising objections and so forth. But the truth of the matter is that the host country is in control of its borders. So if Trump really wants to take this to its logical conclusion, then it means that visas will be revoked, diplomatic passports will not be recognized, anything and everything to prevent the South African delegation to come into the United States of America. We've seen, for example, in September with the General Assembly of the United Nations, Trump refused to give the Palestinian Authority visas and access, including the Iranians and so forth. So it can be done, but as I say, diplomatically, it's not the done thing. And I suspect, Oliver, that like the boycotting of the G20 in Johannesburg, Trump is going to end up with egg on his face again.
Virtual participations are a real thing now. You can deny visas and you can deny passports or a diplomatic recognition, but you can't seemingly deny, based on the charter, participation. South Africa could still virtually participate, it seems.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get there. To be honest with you, I think that our BRICS partners, Brazil, Russia, India, and China, are going to be the first to object and say, if South Africa is not allowed to come, then we will not come. And dare I say, as you can see from the German embassy and the German government, some of the EU members are also going to be in solidarity with South Africa. Remember, the fact that they all came to the G20 in Johannesburg, the first to have taken place on the African continent, was a clear diplomatic message to Trump. We don't agree with the lies that you are spreading about South Africa. We don't agree that we must boycott the G20 because the future is multilateralism. And I think that Ramaphosa and the South African government have found partners in this struggle against the United States. So I suspect that Trump is going to be convinced. He might want to be arrogantly and stick to his guns, but people around him, the State Department, Marco Rubio and others, Keir Starmer, who is part of the troika of the G20, together with South Africa and the US, they're all going to bring pressure to bear. And I can assure you, South Africa is going to be at the G20 in America.
Yeah. Could Donald Trump use this opportunity to further his attack on multilateralism?
Absolutely. We've seen, Oliver, as you know, we've seen that Trump has withdrawn from the World Health Organization. We've seen that he has withdrawn from the Paris Accord in terms of climate. He does not like multilateralism, and that's why he had the problem with the G20 in the first place. Not the fact that it took place in South Africa. They just have a problem with multilateralism because multilateralism means an alternative to one dominant country telling the world how it should operate and how it should function. And that's what Trump doesn't like.
Before the G20 summit takes place next year will be the G7, and that will be the litmus test about where the world's sentiments lies. And of course, all the G7 member states are G20 member states. And one would then see if part of the sentiment carried over and South Africa's clout, so to speak, will sustain across the span of the year. How important will that gathering be?
Absolutely, absolutely important. And that's actually where they are going to convince Trump that this course of action is ill-advised, that he must not do it, otherwise he's going to run into problems with them. I can assure you, it's the same G7 leaders, Oliver, that decided they are coming to the G20 in Johannesburg. All of them, Italy, France, the UK, Germany, Japan, they were all here. And so they are going to go to that meeting of the G7 and they're going to say to Trump, you are barking up the wrong tree. You don't want to take issue with South Africa. We all support South Africa. So you better undo this nonsense about not inviting them to the G20.
Yeah, importantly, and I think the crux of the conversation is whether or not the world needs to decide what it will do about its America problem, or more specifically, its Donald Trump problem. Is there any appetite anywhere in the world to begin to have that conversation?
I don't think so, to be honest. You know, I think it is quite alarming that there is no strategic thinking taking place in Washington, D.C. There is no strategic thinking taking place in the State Department, in the Oval Office, or anywhere in the Washington, D.C. area. You know, we expected the United States that, as usual, can provide the necessary leadership, can lead by example, and so on. And what we see is a complete absence of strategic thinking and engagement from the United States because of the Donald Trump administration. And I think that should worry most of us.
Do you believe that we have enough support in South Africa from Keir Starmer, who is on the top end of the troika, to keep intact the outcomes and resolutions of this G20 summit, to not be completely undone by the Americans?
I do think so. You know, if Keir Starmer was in two minds or he had some misunderstandings, etc., then he wouldn't have come to Johannesburg. He was here, he supported the declaration. The problem with Trump is that he's not listening to the people around him, unlike other world leaders. And I'm sure even if Keir Starmer wouldn't want to have been here because he disagrees with us having taken Israel to the International Court of Justice, he was advised that without South Africa and without Africa, we simply cannot move into the future.
Yeah, we're going to have to leave it there. Dr. Van Heerden, thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. Oscar van Heerden is an international relations analyst.